For the first time in history, we just looked at an alien planet 130 light-years away and figured out what's in its air. That sounds completely made up, but the James Webb Space Telescope just did it. It peered into the atmosphere of a giant alien world and found two things that are going to blow your mind: water and carbon dioxide. This isn't just some random discovery. This is a clue that could literally rewrite how we think planets, even our own Earth, are born. So how did they pull off this impossible challenge? And what does it mean that we found this on a giant gas planet? You are not going to believe what we're showing you today. We are going to one of the most famous star systems ever found, HR 8799. This isn't just a star, it's one of the only families of planets we can actually see. For years, scientists were stumped. They could see the planets, but they had no idea what they were made of because the star was just too bright. But the James Webb Telescope just did the impossible. Okay, so our target, the HR 8799 system, is 130 light-years away. That's almost 800 trillion miles from us. What's so insane about this system is that it's basically a baby. It's only 30 to 40 million years old, while our solar system is over 4.6 billion years old. Looking at HR 8799 is like looking into a time machine. We get to see what our own solar system might have looked like when it was just getting started. And get this, it has at least 4 planets that are bigger than Jupiter. These things are absolute monsters, and they are orbiting incredibly far from their star. For 10 years, we've known these planets were there. But seeing them is one thing, and knowing what's in their air is a completely different challenge. Because they're so young, these planets are still glowing hot from being created, and that heat gives off a faint light that JWST was built to see. But there's one massive problem that has made this impossible until now. How do you take a picture of a planet's air when it's trillions of miles away and right next to a star that's thousands of times brighter? This is the ultimate challenge. The star's light is so bright that it completely erases the tiny little speck of light from the planet. It's like trying to see a single firefly hovering next to a giant searchlight from 10 miles away. Most of the time, we find planets using indirect methods, like waiting for a planet to pass in front of its star and watching the star's light dim a little. This works, but only if the planet is lined up perfectly with us. The planets in the HR 8799 system don't do that. If we wanted to know what was in their air, we had to see them directly. We needed to find a way to literally block out the star. And that's where the James Webb Space Telescope comes in with its insane new technology. This is where the James Webb Telescope becomes the hero of the story. It has a secret weapon called a coronagraph. Think of it like a tiny, perfectly engineered shield inside the telescope. They can move this shield to perfectly block the light from the star, basically creating a man-made eclipse. It's like holding your hand up to block the sun, but on a cosmic scale. By using this shield, astronomers could finally kill the star's glare and see the faint light coming from the planets themselves. For the first time ever, we had a clear view. With the star out of the way, they used another tool to split the planet's light apart, kind of like a prism making a rainbow. Every chemical in a planet's atmosphere absorbs light in a unique way, leaving a barcode or fingerprint in that rainbow. And when they looked at the barcode from HR 8799, they found something unbelievable. The results were insane. Staring back at the scientists was the undeniable fingerprint of carbon dioxide. This wasn't a guess or a maybe. These were the first ever direct pictures of CO2 in the atmosphere of a planet outside our solar system. The signal was massive, which means the air on these alien worlds has a ton of CO2. But that's not all. This new discovery adds to older research from the Keck Observatory that had already found the signature of water in the atmosphere of one of the planets, HR 8799c. So let me say that again. We have now found planets with both water and carbon dioxide in their atmospheres. Now let's be 100% clear. You can't live on these planets. They're giant balls of gas with insane gravity. So who cares? We care because finding these two things together tells us how these planets were born. And it completely changes the game for finding other solar systems like ours. So why is finding CO2 such a massive deal? It's because it helps us solve one of the biggest arguments in science, how giant planets are made. Basically, there are two competing theories. The first is disk instability, where a giant cloud of gas and dust around a star collapses and forms a planet all at once. If this happens, the planet's air would be mostly light stuff, like hydrogen. The second theory is core accretion, which is how we think Jupiter was made. In this theory, A solid core of rock and ice forms first, and once it gets big enough, its gravity starts sucking in gas like a giant vacuum cleaner, forming a huge atmosphere. A planet made this way would have an atmosphere full of heavier elements, like carbon and oxygen. The huge amount of carbon dioxide JWST found is the ultimate proof. CO2 is made of carbon and oxygen, heavy elements. Finding so much of it is the strongest evidence ever that these planets were formed through core accretion. They were built from a solid core, from the bottom up, the exact same way the planets in our solar system were. We aren't just looking at random planets. We're looking at a system that used the same blueprint as ours. Finding water and CO2 on the HR 8799 planets is a huge win. We proved our tech can literally see the air on other worlds, and we found evidence that solar systems like ours could be common. But every answer just gives us a crazier question. These giant planets can't host life, but what if they have moons? If the planets are loaded with the ingredients for life, like water and CO2, could they have delivered those ingredients to smaller, rocky moons orbiting them? Could there be a secret habitable world hiding there right now, stocked with everything needed for biology? We don't know. Not yet. But what we do know is that JWST has just given us our first real taste of an alien atmosphere, and you can believe that we are going back to look for more. Thanks for watching. We are living in the most insane era of discovery ever, and this is only the beginning. If you want to see the next crazy discovery and not miss out, smash that subscribe button and join the adventure.